Now, NGOs, government agencies and private persons are stepping in to provide potable water for residents of Mafi Akukoko, where everyone drinks from a muddy source of water. This follows a JoyNews story which shone the light on the plight of the people. The residents have also written to the Assembly officially requesting pipe-borne water and the supply of other safe sources. The Assembly is also sending sachet water to the residents there. Joseph Opoku-Gakpo has been leading this campaign to get water to the residents. He's here with me in the studio. Also here, Joseph, you're welcome, by the way.
Thank you. Also
here in the studio is Dr. Donald Agumenu, who is the Executive Director of Water for Rural Africa. We'll find out what he wants to do with this. Gentlemen, you're welcome.
Yeah,
and you're welcome, you especially. Joseph, what's the latest?
So the District Chief Executive, you would recall, he's indicated that the efforts are ongoing to get a borehole drilled, to get a tank to them, but they've had difficulty with getting the heavy trucks there because of the situation with the roads. Now he's indicating that in the interim, the plan is to provide them with sachet water, which they are getting to the community for the next few days and the weeks ahead. So, you know, a number of bags of them that they can at least make use of in drinking and in cooking until they're able to get the situation with the roads dealt with, so they can move in a huge vehicle that will then convey a tank to them. So at the level of the District Assembly, that's what has been happening. We've got a number of calls from private persons.
Well, Joseph, before you even go on about what has happened, the sort of responses we're getting on that back of that story, let's take a look at that report once again.
Residents here, old and young, men and women on daily basis, walk for some 15 minutes to get to the nearest water source. This is how the water looks like. Unclean, brownish, muddy, as thick as porridge. Sticks and tree branches lie in them with bubbles brewing all over it. Felicia, a mother of 4, stands in the mud as she stretches her hand and fetches from the deep source into her basin. A large chunk of what she fetches is actually mud. But guess what? They drink it like that, without any form of treatment.
He was basically saying that this is the only source of water they have over here. And when they fetch it, they'll send it home. And they use it to cook. They drink it, do everything with only this water.
Back home, Felicia and her children pour the mud into their huge storage bin. They are grateful they at least have some water to use for their house chores. They will not even allow for the mud to settle before they go fetch it to use for washing of dishes and cooking. Felicia's daughter Sylvia says they don't have a choice.
What are you able to do with the water?
We use it to cook. We use it to wash our things. We drink it.
Aren't you afraid this may cause you any illness?
But it is only this water that we have.
What do you want done about this? What do you want to change?
We want the government to bring us another water.
What kind of water would you have that?
Pipe-borne water.
If water is truly life, as they say, then these residents obviously deserve better than this. For JoyNews, Joseph Opoku-Gakpo reporting.
So that's the sort of water Joseph was describing, and the sort of response that we've had so far, which is part of the reason why Dr. Agumenu is here. Joseph, I'll have you speak about the responses so far, and then I'll bring him in, and so he tell us how he fits in the maze.
Yes, so we've had beyond what the Assembly has told us that they are doing, and even in the Assembly, they had requested that the residents officially make a request to them for the specific items, the borehole and also the water tank, so that then they will take action.
What, they couldn't take action if the people didn't make a request? That sounds quite ridiculous, doesn't it?
Well, they say they would want to do that procedurally. So the Assembly member has gone ahead to do that in a letter dated
I don't know.
August 16,
right.
he wrote to the assembly officially making a request that they would need those items.
Okay.
Except that it's looking a little tricky. From what the DC tells us, they want to dig a borehole and then in the interim provide the water tank. But from what the assemblymen and the residents are saying, they would rather want pipe-borne water because they see a community about 30 minutes away called Mafia Gekbe. Water has been extended there. So they would rather want pipe-borne water because they don't know what may happen with the water tables after a borehole is dug. So those conversations are ongoing, and then the point comes that, well, maybe, you know, pipe-borne water, borehole may not be a bad idea. The boreholes can be dug, and then maybe the pipe-borne water
they deal with the pipe-borne water. Well, let me bring you in here, Dr. Gomeno. What's the Water for Rural Africa? How does the organization fit into the discussion here?
Yeah, first of all, I must commend the works of Joy TV or multimedia, and especially my brother for taking up this mantle to supporting or advocating for the provision of potable water. Water for Rural Africa basically I started championing this cause for almost 3 years now, and even on World Water Day we were here to advocate for the need for the global community, especially Ghana, having access to clean water. We must underline one fact, that water is part of the human rights, or one of the human rights that we have. It's a basic human right that everybody needs to have access to clean water. Particularly the case of Mafia Kukopo, it's very touching. And I must say that these issues are all over the country. And we need to take up a proactive step to solving it and charting a roadmap as to how beyond Akukopo, what must we do as a nation, what must we do as stakeholders in championing these very subjects to addressing it. I took up the challenge myself and visited Akukopo, and even went as far as looking at the situation, speaking with the community, meeting the assembly member. What I did also is to speak with the member of parliament for that area.
And in these conversations, what is it that you guys talk about?
Yeah, basically what we want to do is this. Our mission, or my mission, basically is to validate the reports to see whether these issues are there. Then number two, finding a solution, and a sustainable solution for that matter, because as my brother was saying, you may bring a borehole machine and at the end of the day the water table may not be suitable. But we need to also look at other ways of water harvesting. And what I've discovered, like he said, there's a nearby community that has water. So I told them to give me a budget for me to present it to my board as quickly as possible for us to support them. So there are two options: the borehole and the extension of water from the nearby community to this place.
As Joseph is saying, the people seem to prefer the latter, right?
Yes, which is the pipe-borne water.
The pipe-borne water. Have you seen the budget, or they're yet to bring you the budget?
Yeah, I have the budget.
You have the budget. From what you see on the paper, is this something that can happen fast enough?
Yes, it's achievable. It's achievable. We can do it. The only thing we have to do procedurally, we need to just liaise with assembly. If they can step in as quickly as possible, fine.
Okay.
If they will not, we will just have to come in and do it. So the timeline we have to execute this thing, within a week, we should be able to
give us a timeline.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
No, so what I'm trying to say is this: within a week, we should be able to solve the problem. Because
to solve the problem.
If we are concentration on drilling a borehole, it's just a matter of actualizing whether the water table is good. A borehole,
yeah, which is very key, because I was just telling Joseph this afternoon that there's also a story I'm doing in the Volta region where they have had 2 boreholes, but water doesn't flow through them. Because, so that's another problem. So you tend to invest a whole lot of money constructing that borehole, and it doesn't really
exactly. So we have to actualize those things.
Right.
Then also, what I just want to advise is this: the community shouldn't say that this is what they want. What they need is potable water.
Potable water.
The solution to giving that is what is key. Not to say that we need,
we want this, so
this is
don't
a very
give us
critical
that
issue. We need to be able to address it
like
that.
So So you obviously don't agree with their choice. It's just the final words.
But if what they want actually makes sense.
No, but what they want, we know.
What they want is the pipe-borne water. That's what everyone would need.
The pipe-borne water.
So then my point is, maybe that may be a long-term plan. In the short term, the boreholes can be dug. But we should all not just get our hands off once the borehole is dug. 30 minutes away in Mafia, there is pipe-borne water. The extension should.
I see that you feel that they should just look at extending the water, the pipe-borne water that they have in the nearby community. You know, if it's 30 minutes away, I envisage that it shouldn't be so hard.
That's what I think.
Just to step in, you know, holistically, we need to look at all alternatives, because for me, I support the extension, but all the same, let's see what can be done as quickly as possible. And underlining fact is quality potable water. If that is assured, then we are able to solve the solution.
Then we're able to solve the problem.
Yeah.
Well, Mafi, did they have multi-TV there? When did they have this?
They definitely don't have electricity.
They don't.
So the road network is bad.
Okay.
Yeah.
So they live in darkness, basically.
Yes, and in fact, last year, that was in June 2017, there was a petition from a number of communities in that enclave, including Mafia Akukoko, to the president, requesting for the extension of electricity to that area. A year down the line, that hasn't actually happened. So that's what they need first, electricity. Then we can think of multi-TV.
Oh dear. Yeah, I'm asking because most of the villages that I have seen in the Volta region, for example, you'd see the multi-TV right on top of the building, and I was just going to give them a shout out.
Using your platform to do marketing. That's
no,
fine,
not necessarily. Not necessarily, even though that would be perfect. But I was going to give them some shout outs.
Go ahead. Well, you know, they are watching in one of the nearby communities.
Well, for those of you in Mafi Akukokpo, since Gakpo said I should go ahead and give you the shout out. I hope that you're watching. Help is coming your way, and JoyNews, the JoyNews team really has been on this. We will be on it up until you get potable water, which you so much deserve. So thanks to Dr. Donald Agumenu, who is the Executive Director of the Water for Rural Africa, for coming. And Joseph Opoku Gakpo, we can't say enough thanks to you for bringing this story to the limelight.
It's great to be here.
Certainly. We look forward to solving this problem once and for all.